For today's lesson, we're going to talk about how you can use context clues and your knowledge of your roots to put words in correct sentences or figure out what words mean when they are inside of sentences. This is similar to what you're going to be doing on your vocabulary quiz as well. So the first thing you should do is go through each of the words that are given to see if you know what the word parts mean. I can see in part A, phonics, fawn means sound, so I'm going to write that above it. Then in B, we have vivacious. Vive or viv means life, so I'm going to write that. In letter C, we have two roots in this word. We have the word homophones. So we already said phone means sound, so we don't have to rewrite that unless we need to or want to. But the first part, homo or homo, means same. Next one, inspected. We know that spec means look. And the last one, monologue. Mono means one. So then the next thing that you want to do is look through these sentences to see if you can find any of the words from up here in those sentences. Because if you can, they're most likely going to match up. For sentence number 1, 2, 2, and 2 are called blank because they sound the same. Well, I already see I have two words, sound and same, which matches up with the word homophones. That makes sense to me. I'm going to go ahead and put C for number 1. All right, number 2, all of the people loved her because she had such a blank personality. She truly loved being alive. This one's a little bit more tricky, but I see that live and life are pretty similar, so that could be my answer. I'm going to go ahead and wait a minute just so I can double check though. On number 3, they bought their child the Hooked on What program so that she could begin learning the sounds letters make. Well, here's a word that matches up. You might already have heard of this program before. If so, then you can just use that clue and put the answer in. The only other word up here that has the word sound in it is phonics. Hooked on Phonics is a program, so I'm going to go ahead and put A there. Number 4, I don't usually like long blanks in plays. I can't stand when one person drones on and on. I have the number 1 here. The final one, the detectives closely blank the crime scene for any missed evidence. Well, here's an interesting thing. We also know that vid means look. We have one word that uses the word look. The only other word we have not used yet so far is vivacious, about life. I don't think that a detective would closely life the crime scene, but they might look at one. So I'm going to go ahead and put D here, and that means that we were correct about B up here. So now, not only do you use what you've understood about these words themselves, but you have to use the words inside the sentences to match them up. Even if you don't understand what these words are saying, just by looking at them, by looking at other words in the sentence and figuring out what the sentence is trying to say, you can easily figure out what sentence the words belong in. So now it's your turn to see if you can put these 5 words into the sentences in which they belong. A. Exhume. B. Visage. C. Omniscient. D. Pentameter. E. Telephoto. The sentence is, number 1, the fortune teller was blank because she was aware of everything. 2, I could tell by his worn down blank that it had been a tough day. 3, Shakespeare uses iambic blank because he likes having 5 poetic feet per measure of a poem. 4, she wanted a blank lens for Christmas so her pictures of the stars would be clearer. 5, the detectives needed permission from the family and cemetery to blank the body from the grave.